There we go.
All
All
Cool.
right, Dave. I bet you have a whole list of questions written on a piece of paper right there, don't you?
Yes,
Awesome. Awesome. Let's tackle them.
I do it as I go, so I won't forget. And some of them are just experience questions too.
Yeah.
But I think a good one to look at right off the bat on the list, on making list, I've realized the necessity of, I guess what I'm asking, once I put them in a list,
Uh-huh.
can I change the name of the list?
You sure can. You want me to show you how?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because my plan is to, I mean, I have about 6 companies that I've been targeting, and within each of those companies, I'm prospecting several contacts, and I
Perfect.
want to name the list the name of the company.
Yep. Yep. So you come to list over here on
Uh-huh.
the left side,
Yeah, I'm there.
and you can create a new list
Uh-huh.
and call it anything you want. But if you want to edit one of them, which is coming in, awesome. If you want to edit any of these, so like I've got test lists here, a couple different ways. You've got the pencil over here on the right side. You can start there, and then I can call this, next test list, and just update, and you're good to go.
So you rename the list.
Yeah. Is that what you asked? How to rename it?
Yeah, but can I put but well, I guess I'm struggling with so for instance, let's say Boot Barn is one of my target companies. I would like to look at, I don't think I can do what I'm thinking I can do, is make the list name. Well, I can put it in parentheses there, or I want to make the list name like Boot Barn, and then have all the contacts I'm working under that name. That's not possible, is it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
what we would do, so let me show you this, and all this will be recorded in there too.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, what you want to do is come in and create a new list, and we're going to create a list for a specific. So you're saying Boot Barn is the client. Okay. Now there's a couple different ways we can do it. We pre-created these different workflows with preset settings. So if you're prospecting, what it's going to do is you'll have 4 comments, then you'll send a connection request message. You'll be prompted to thank them when they accept the connection request. And then you'll give them one more engagement. And then it'll shut down, and it'll prompt to say, now where do you want me to put this person? And you can move them into a different type of list. So as an example, with Boot Barn, they're all like, I'm assuming you're kind of taking an account-based approach. You're going to go and build relationship with anyone you can, with the goal of trying to get to the main person who's the buyer. Okay. So I would recommend we start with prospecting. And so we'll click on get started. And you can follow the instructions here, but it follows our standard workflow. You're going to engage with them every 3 days. You'll engage with them 4 times. And then it's going to give you a task reminder to send them the connection request.
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay. So in this case, in fact, I could.
So
want me to log into your account and do it for you?
Okay. Sure.
Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Although I should probably make you do it, so you have to.
Otherwise,
do it on. Yeah. Okay. So let me go back here.
For context, what I've done is anybody I'm prospecting, I just have them prospecting list, and then if I was already connected with them, I put it in the nurture list, and then I named the list nurture. Nurture list is the where I put them, and I put in parentheses connections, so I know, what it is.
Yep. Yeah. So the cool thing here, Dave, is you can make as many lists as you want. And I'll show you, like with mine, and some of this is garbage, not garbage, but some of this is because of test stuff. But
sure.
So I have different lists for different purposes. So like right now I'm in conversations with IBM about potentially partnering with them on some things. And so I have one that's specifically for IBM, and it's all the people that are, and hi, all the IBMers who are watching the video and they're now, my strategy. But look, it makes sense, right? I want to stay top of mind with them. I want to stay connected with them. I want to be in their network as much as possible. So I have one for that. But then I also have, and here's one that's good. These are potential partners. These are some of my friends that are social selling influencers that might be good affiliates for Fist Bump. I've got them in there. And then I have my Fist Bump alpha users. So these were like the first group of users that started using Fist Bump. And I want to stay top of mind with them because a lot of them are our champions and all that. So my point is, I have a variety of different lists. They all have different settings, and I use them for a different purpose.
So
that makes sense?
So if I started out with a brand new company today, I've targeted some contacts, do I go ahead and make a custom list and call it that company name?
Yeah,
would you do that?
I would. Let me say this. I would, period.
Be organized better, yeah.
Yeah. Then I would take a look at, like I made a list for a company that I thought I was going to really pursue. And then I realized as I started getting deeper into it, that the sales leader of the company was totally antisocial.
Yep.
And I just deleted the entire account and everybody in it. Not everybody in it. There was a couple people that were kind of active, and I just threw them into one of my other lists just to stay top of mind, because you never know, they may move to a new company or whatever. But it was no longer like a hot prospect for me. And so I deleted them that way.
Okay.
So let me show you how to do this. We're going to create a new list. And again, you have these pre-created workflows. Any one of these can also be tweaked. So as an example, we're going to create a prospecting list. Let's say you go, hey, you know what I found with my industry is that I really need to do 5 or 6 comments before I send a connection request. As an example, you can tweak it. So we'll say, get started.
Now, what do I choose when I import something? I got to choose one of those list names though, right?
Yeah, we're going to name it right here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're just choosing the workflow.
Okay.
Which is the settings. So you'll see here a reconnecting list. You get a little description here. This is your existing first connections, but maybe you haven't spoken with them for a while. And so you want to re-engage with them before you send them a message and ask for a call. And that's what this pre-created workflow is designed to do. So on this page, and hopefully I'm not confusing you, and Butch and Tom, you guys can jump in if I'm being confusing. On this page, you're just choosing the workflow that you want. And then the next page is where we'll name it. And so you have 3 pre-created workflows that you can always tweak, or over here on build your own list, you create it and you set all your own settings from scratch. So you have total freedom.
Gotcha.
So I'll start here. What I think would make sense for Boot Barn, we go create a new list. We'll call it Boot Barn. And remember, if you have questions anywhere you have the question marks, you're going to find it. And then if you wanted to adjust the settings, you have it right here. And then you can come in here, and again, all your question marks are going to give you information. So what it'll do is every 3 days, you're going to get a task. After you've engaged with them 4 times, it's going to give you a last task to send a connection request. And here is where you can write your own default connection request message. The idea here is that this might be 80% done, but once you get to that position to send them the connection request, I highly recommend you personalize it. Like, you know, hey, Dave, you know, you and I keep commenting on Tom's post, and I keep seeing your comments, and it's been fun and awesome. I also noticed we're not connected. Is it okay if we connect? So personalize it if you can. And then when you're done, you'll either say save list or update list if you made the changes. And now what you'll find is Boot Barn is here.
Okay.
And then when you go to LinkedIn, what I normally do, just in case, I will always refresh.
Sure.
Just to make sure everything gets put into it. But now let's say I wanted, let's say Brian was with Boot Barn. Now I can come down and add him to my list.
Okay. Now I have a bunch of prospects in mind now. They're listed as prospect. Can I make a list and move those prospects to that list?
You sure can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me show you how to do that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So we come over.
Yeah, because I've been, prospecting hard for a few months now. I got a few things in there.
Yeah. So on the left menu, go to prospects. And then you've got a search tool here, so you can search for people by name. But let's say that you find somebody here. You click on, you're going to see all their history. You have up here, so this is all your activity history. Any notes that you've made, you can add, you'll see all your notes here. And then any tasks that you have upcoming. All you'll need to do is grab the pencil right here and come over here and choose to move them into a different list.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at poking around and just trying to figure it out, but I couldn't get that one done for some reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I know you've got it. Now I know that you had mentioned you're using HubSpot. When you can, didn't you say you were using HubSpot, a free HubSpot?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You may want to get in this habit, Dave. If you have somebody's email address, their business email, add it here.
Yeah.
Because once we do an integration with HubSpot for you, this email address has to match the email address inside of HubSpot.
Okay.
And then what it's going to do is it will take all these activities. It'll take all of this and put it right into HubSpot for you.
Does the record have to be created in HubSpot?
I don't know the answer on how exactly it's going to work yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. We've
Sounds
got to
complex.
get it where.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Tom and Daniel are here. They're smart and I'm not.
If it works the same way we're doing it with LeadSmart, is the record, like Christopher Tuck would be, the record would be created whenever you add him to a list. So let's say you add Christopher to a list, it would create the record. And then any engagement, which is in the activity feed, automatically gets logged as well. What we're trying to work on, which is a bit more complicated, is let's say you've engaged with Christopher 10 times before you added him to a list for whatever reason, to be able to carry over all of the stuff prior to the moving him into the list as well. That's a bigger job.
Yeah. This has to not be easy coding.
Yeah, but we're testing it with which, Brandon, I want to do some testing with you on this the next day or so we can kind of see how this all should work, and then we can decide where other platforms we can put it on.
Perfect.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, that was a great question. I really appreciate that. I know that we've got to start spending some time getting into some of what we think are the basics of fist bump. Daniel and I were just talking about it this morning of taking some of these key features and just train and repeat. Because he was talking about a really cool feature that we built. I'll be very honest. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we built that. And we've only had this thing launched for like 90 days,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so
one thing you might want to point out, Brandon, if you didn't already, if you go back to fist bump, if you add somebody new to a list, it should automatically put their company in as well now. So if like Brian, it'll automatically put their company in the list as well, which will make it easier again when you're trying to do CRM or looking at even account-based, you're trying to connect with a bunch of people in the same account.
It's going to put it in the prospect list record.
It will.
So you'll notice here when I'm in LinkedIn, if I go to add him to a list, it automatically pulls in his company name. It tells me, it knows that it's a connection. If he wasn't a connection, it would be unchecked.
I see that.
And then you can choose the list to put them in. And I just had it this morning. I was putting a couple of people in a list and it wasn't pulling the company name. I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't work. Daniel's looking at it, but sometimes, so I always just check, make sure there's a name in here.
You know what would on the wish list? We used to have a spreadsheet that was shared, and people just put stuff on the wish list. And one of those for me would be that record, the import. If it could import their title as well, I think that would be good information. What do you think about that?
Tom, what do you think before I give my opinion?
I think the problem in talking about that with Daniel is that if you scroll down, right, people can have multiple jobs and multiple. And so it's like, well, am I, which one am I taking, right? Because there could be many options.
The other thing is, like in this case too, his most recent experience says he's a digital marketing specialist, but Brian's the owner of the company. Oh, and actually he says it right here.
Yeah, it's just too convoluted.
People can really put anything they want in there. So there's a gray area there.
Yeah, I get it. And I know how to go back and put it in there. So it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
I agree with Brandon completely. If you can fill out the title and the email and all that stuff, so you have the full profile there. Because then when we start doing integrations, it just opens up the door to a lot of other things, and you're prepared, right? You're ready to integrate into other places.
Yeah. Well, plus for me, I mean, I'm still with a lot of people, I'm sure, I'm still figuring out different companies use different titles, or, I will rate the lead, on A, B, C, or D, and I'm figuring out what titles are the people that I'm searching for, that I want to get in front of. And so at a glance, I can look at one and say, well, for me, it would be, well, one's a marketing person, another one's director of construction. The director of construction is going to be higher level for me than the marketing person, if that makes sense. Just the point being, the titles they're important, as you know, but I get totally what you're saying.
Excuse me.
Dave, are you generally, like, if you want to get into, I heard him mention Boot Barn, but if you're trying to get into an account, do you generally take, a bunch of people from that account and start working with all of them, or are you cherry picking certain titles?
I'm cherry picking certain titles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dave, did you see my, I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you see my video on how to discover people that are active on LinkedIn from a company?
You mean, were you the one that's put up yesterday?
I think I did it yesterday.
Yeah, I looked at that.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that, I want to make sure that you and we're recording this. Well, other people, if you're watching this and you're curious, my video I posted on, what is that, May 10th, talked about it. And it's, I think it falls in the line of like account-based social, so that you're really going after and meeting and creating relationship with lots of people inside of a company in order to get magnetically moved towards the person you really want to speak to. And I think that's important.
That's very helpful to me, because even though I'm cherry picking, as you mentioned, Tom, I'm cherry picking titles, sometimes I find out that they're not very active. So I do what I can with it, but I was really grasping for ideas of how to get in front of them, and what you did yesterday did exactly that. I can go to the company page, just like you showed, and look for people that are active that might be able to influence the person I'm getting to, because I know if I get connected to enough people and I build the relationship good enough, then I'm in a position to ask them for an introduction, bridge an introduction.
Well, and I think there's two things I'd like to say to that for anybody that's listening to is, number one is Carson talks about this a lot on social selling for newbies. Like, I mean, it's the swarm approach. Now they're Microsoft and they sell to very large companies, and he has a very large team, but everybody on the team is doing that. And everyone on the team is going out and saying, who can we meet and know in this division of this company? Because the more of those relationships you have, the better. The second thing I was going to say, and I just forgot. I hate it when that happens. My gray hair is catching up to me. And it was really important. Carson says it, and this is why we were just talking about this, Tom, I think yesterday. There's a decision maker who has legitimate power, but nowadays that decision maker doesn't sit in a vacuum, meaning they've got 5, 6, 10 voices that they listen to as part of their team. And those 5, 6, 10 people are active on LinkedIn, or they're listening to podcasts, or they're watching videos, and they're getting their own emails coming in, and they're gathering information. And so the scenario is they're in a team meeting, and they're like, hey, we've got this problem. And some person on the team goes, oh, I saw a company that's doing da 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 da. They might be able to help us. And the team goes, oh, cool. What do you know about them? And they're like, oh, I'm connected to this guy. Let me reach out and see if that's the power of all of our networks and providing content and commenting and being top of mind, is that we never know which person is going to be in a meeting or refer us or anything like that.
Yeah. And I think to that point, Brandon, and something to think about, Dave, is, obviously you want certain titles, but then also, if you see active people in the company, go ahead and grab them, right?
Yes.
Because those active people may have undue influence.
Yes.
Compared to some of the people with the titles.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna do. Go ahead, Dave, and keep talking. I'm just gonna tell anyone that might be watching the video. I'm gonna go in and show this right now too. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I was just saying there's times when I just really didn't know what I was doing, frankly, and just out of aggravation, if you will, frustration, I'm searching titles and getting people that's not active, and then it just come to mind to me, well, what the heck, just anybody active might be able to help me.
Yep.
And so that's what I began doing that, and I continue to do that. I want to go wide. I want to go wide, correct? In the company? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at some point you'll go a little bit lower, a little bit higher. Like we're just looking to find people who are active so that we can network with them. Right. If they're active and we're active, and we use then our skills and our tactics to build that relationship. That's the key. And that's where, Tom and I talk a lot about the value of a healthy connection. Right. And yeah, sometimes you can do that immediately with the person you really want to talk to, but sometimes you got to do that with 3 or 4 or 5 other people in order to get to the person you really want to speak to.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'll take this as an example. Now Kyle's very active, but he works for MongoDB, which is a really large company. And so for anybody else listening, if let's say Kyle's the person I want to meet, we come down and go to show all activity. And we start looking at when they've last posted. Like I said, Kyle is very active. So I would look here, and let's say this was a month ago. In the video I did yesterday, it was like 3 weeks ago, and then it was like 2 months ago. And I think the person had 4 posts in the last 12 months. Not very active. So if anyone you experience that, then select and go to comments, and you can take a look here. And again, if the comments are like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 7 months ago, 2 years ago, you're like, okay, they're not very active, but I still want to meet Kyle. So everybody got to pretend with me a little bit. We look at the reactions. Again, if it's 3 months ago, 5 months ago, a year ago, boom, Kyle's just not very active. Again, everybody, we're pretending. But I do click on this picture. We go back to his company, and it doesn't work the direct way anymore, but click on that. It's going to bring you to his company. Click on the company page. And this is my shortcut. This is my hack. I go to their post. What happened there? Oops. I must have hit. Sorry, guys. I hit the wrong button. Okay, we'll go to Mongo. We click on post. And what I like to do is go look at their post, go to the likes, and you just click on the number. And these are all the people that liked the MongoDB post. And for most of us, we know the majority of these people that liked it are probably going to be employees, or at least a lot of them will be employees, because what do? We see our company's post and we go, oh, we feel obligated to like it. And so you can scroll through here, and a lot of people will put their company in their name. Like, look, incoming technical program management intern at Mongo. Well, maybe we don't want to talk to an intern, but you get the idea. Here we go. Principal solutions architect at Mongo. Okay, we know Munish here has at least liked this post. It was recent, so we know that he's logging in. Click on his name. And it's going to take you right to his page. And if you want to keep going deeper, you'll come down and go to his all activity and go, oh, well, it was 8 months ago, but let's look at his comments. A week ago. This is a great example. So what we learned real quickly is he doesn't post very often, but he comments periodically. And then very easily, you could say, I want to add him into a list. And you'll notice here, this is a good example. For whatever reason, it didn't pull it in, his name. So we add it, and we add the prospect, and you're off and running.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The top, and I think I've emailed you about it. Under the all activity, I do all I have under that must be a navigator feature only. I've got premium, but under all activity, all that I see is there's another tab for all activity and a tab for posts, and a tab for articles and documents. I do not have a comments tab to click on.
Interesting. Everybody used to have it. Tom, what about you? Do you see comments?
Let me look.
I wonder if that, I have not heard that before, Dave. I wonder if that's a recent LinkedIn change to try and drive up their Navigator revenue.
Could be.
Yeah, I see post, comments, videos, images, articles, events, reactions.
Yeah, I don't have any of that.
And do you pay for Navigator, Tom?
I pay for Navigator, yeah.
Okay.
That must be a Navigator feature.
I'll go ask in one of my groups and see if anyone knows that answer. That would actually be really smart of LinkedIn to do.
Oh, absolutely. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Dave, can you share your screen real quick?
Do what?
Can you share your screen?
Let me see.
No worries.
I'm not. Yeah, let me 1 second here. Give me just a second, and let me close some windows. So it's just easier.
Brandon, do you have Navigator or just Premium?
I have Navigator.
All right, 1 second here.
We have to go look at Daniel's Test USA account and see.
Test USA.
Okay. Share screen. I should be able to see the screen I want to share, right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's good.
You see it there?
I do.
Can you scroll down? Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead and lead him like you were doing.
No, just go to somebody, go not to a company, but go to an individual. It's in your feed.
Okay.
So just scroll down. There's got to be a couple individuals in there. So go to home.
Yeah.
And then just scroll down a bit. So and then click Daniel Locke. And then look at his activity. Show all activity. Yeah. So wow, he's got quite a bit less, Brandon. I mean, I've got 8 tabs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But check this out. When I go back to his home screen, I have this on the home screen here is the only place that I will see where Daniel commented on anything.
Yeah.
Under activity, all activity, the only thing I see is the likes. I don't see any comments. The only place I'll see comments is right here. And I don't think they're all the comments. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, we need to go figure that out.
You're a premium member too, right? I saw you have premium on there.
Yes, I am.
So wow.
It's
either one of two things. It's some people they roll out things, sometimes they roll out things in phases. And you just haven't gotten that capability yet, or it is a Navigator thing.
Yep.
I'm gonna reach out to someone today and ask that question, and maybe even Rachel Simon, who's our LinkedIn Essentials coach.
I think we need to do a webinar with Rachel on some of this.
Yeah, we'll pull her in on that too.
Or Carson, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. Carson probably would know somebody that could answer the question for us if he doesn't know the answer. Especially because everyone knows Carson,
I asked Bill McCormick about it, and Bill didn't see. He wasn't aware of anything.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's the slow rollout because they just made a change to this.
Mm-hmm.
Mine changed, gosh, Tom, I don't know if you remember, a month to 6 weeks ago is when my menu up there changed. So it might be a slow rollout. It might be a setting.
Yeah, when I first saw those tabs on your screen, Brandon, I thought I was losing my mind or something. I thought, what's going on here? And then I thought, well, it must be a navigator feature. But then what you said, and I went at LinkedIn and searching it, and that wasn't no help. But what you say, I'm hoping it's a slow rollout.
Yeah, I'll do my best today to find an answer to that for everyone.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, did you have any other questions? I know you have a lot of them. At least for today.
I'm looking for a good one. Whoa, bear with me here. What are your thoughts, as in what to do? Now forget that one, sir. What do you think about commenting on the same post twice that my contact on LinkedIn has commented to, just to get my name in front of them again?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a great question. I think if it's natural, it's great.
Worth trying.
Don't force it. But yeah, I've done that sometimes where there's lots of comments on a post, and I'll go comment on multiple comments because that's very natural, right? That's like having conversations with different people all within the same larger conversation. Yep.
What are your thoughts on commenting on very old likes? I think I know, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a tell, in my opinion, and it can very easily make you stink of sales. Right. Yeah. But at the same time, if you have something really important, a good question, like depends again on your commenting strategy or your commenting style. I think it could be a good tell as well. Like, obviously I was doing my research. Obviously I went and looked at your stuff, but when you have something valuable to share, if you go to something old and you do great post, it's a negative tell. It makes you reek of sales, and people probably ignore you.
Yeah. When I tag someone, a connection on a company post, does that get recorded in Fistbump?
When you tag them on a company post, it should. I mean, if you're on a page,
you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you tagged the person. So the interesting thing there was, we will record it, but I don't believe because you tagged, it'll get recorded into that user's activity list.
Yeah.
It would get recorded into the company page activity list, assuming that page is part of a list. Did that make sense?
No.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
So you can add here. Let me show this again. So you can add pages now to the list. So let's say in this case, so I can add the company page to a list. So if I'm on, now that the company page is on the list, if I'm here and I'll just do this, if I like this post, it's going to capture it as a task. You'll see that I've got it in here. I've reacted to it. Now, if I commented on it, and even if I comment on it and I tag Munish, I think that was his name. Sorry if I mess it up. Even if I commented and tagged Munish, I'm going to get it here in the history, but it won't necessarily show in the history for Munish.
In his record.
His record.
Yeah. But yet that I didn't think of that. But I've wondered about the recording activity from a company page, and so it's very worthwhile to do, because at least that way you have documentation. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Cool. Welcome, Butch.
I've got to drop, Brandon. I don't know. Are you going to keep going or?
Yeah, we're hitting the hour mark. Oh, not quite yet, but yeah, I blocked off the time for answering questions.
Hey, Brandon, let me ask a question. Can I had to drop out and I'm coming back, but will I be able to watch this whole webinar?
Yep, it's all recorded. It's all just live Q&A. So we've been answering Dave's Q's. Tom and I have been AN.
Well, some of the things that y'all were talking about, I need to know. So I'll just go back and listen to the whole thing.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you, Butch.
If a contact has reposted, if I comment on that, is my prospect notified? So they've reposted. I comment on that. They get notified just as if they commented?
Okay. Yep. When they repost something, it acts just like a post. That's why commenting is so valuable. I mean, for so many reasons, commenting is valuable. Notifications is just kind of the tip of the iceberg.
Well, you're helping me a bunch here. Is it possible to delete a note? I couldn't find where to do it.
I don't believe so. We didn't put that in that I know of. Nope. Nope. So I've got a list of what I probably should do is make a fist bump feature request section in the community and let everybody add their feature request.
My version of the wish list.
That's right.
That's what was done at my previous company, as I mentioned.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dave, I mean, the cool thing for you at the Inner Circle is when you show up and no one else shows up, you get like private coaching.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That is cool. I will take it.
You should.
I took to heart, if you will, what you said about in our meeting Tuesday, thinking about activating in post. When I post, to activate my values. How am I doing that? And that's that post I put out yesterday about with a picture of our cats. That was intended to be me, and it is me, but I turned it centric to people, if you will, for lack of better words. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah. But look, currently right now, what I've seen, and we tested this over a couple of years. We called it the content value pyramid, and we'll get into this in the Inner Circle as well. And it's part of my my course, the very specific course. But the content value pyramid, what we did is we looked at posts across the world. So lots of different cultures. We had a bunch of different like VAs that we'd say, hey, go in for an hour today, and this is what we want you to do. And what they were doing is they classified a post, and then they documented how many comments, how many likes it had, and how many views it had if they could see it. So what we did is we classified, there were advertising posts. So it's like, like basically a brochure was one of them. And then we had another one that we called a co-branded. It's like, hey, I'm saying something about my company. We had one that we called curated content. So I read an article and I'm going to tell you about it. And then we had another one that was, what do we call that? I forgot the term that we use. Value giving, educational post. My gosh, educational post. And then we had a personal post. So we had 5 different categories. And then we looked at, again, how many comments, how many likes, and how many views. And guess which category of post by far got the most engagement?
Whichever one was the more personal one. Yeah. Which is,
personal.
What did you call that one? You just called
Personal.
it personal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was a personal post. Now, why? As much as everybody wants to say, oh, LinkedIn's for business, right? Business has never been just for business. Like that's why we take people to lunch. We go to coffee. I mean, I'll give you an example right now. I had a meeting. I'm not, the virtual office, sitting in the alley, and somebody who I met with, I had coffee with her on Tuesday, I believe. We met on LinkedIn. This is like for everybody. She saw the show. I don't remember how she encountered the show, but she saw the show, commented on one of my posts. We got connected on LinkedIn. Realized that we lived in the same area. We scheduled a meeting. We got together for a coffee on Tuesday. And she lives near my office. And I forgot to give her a copy of my book on Tuesday. And I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry, I forgot. She's like, well, I'll swing by on Thursday and meet you at the office. I said, great. So she showed up and I gave her a copy of my book, and she gave me a bandana for our dog because this is her company, on her hobby company. She makes custom bandanas for dogs. Okay. So why am I telling all this? Where was the business and all that?
Oh, well, it's all personal.
Right.
What's more personal than spending money with someone?
Right. It's all personal. And so I have, when we go through it, when I demonstrate the content value pyramid, I show different posts of mine. I had a post that was like, hey, we just released our Chrome extension. This is really awesome. And this is from like 4 years ago, but still, it's still relevant. And I had 3 likes, and 2 of them were from employees, and 1 was from a longtime friend. So virtually no value. It was like me going into a big, huge room and shouting my message, but nobody was in the room with me. Like 0 value. And then I worked my way down, and then I have this post. And it's still, I think, my most viral post. I think it had about 80,000 views. Saturday morning, I'm up early, drinking my coffee, working on my laptop, and I hear a motorcycle come up our driveway. Now, we have a pretty long driveway. And I'm like, who's coming to our house on a motorcycle, right? This is going on in my head. Because we have 5 kids, I start going through the kids. I'm like, Maddie's at college. She isn't really bad. So I start at the oldest and work my way down. And kind of confused, I go walking over to the door and I look out and I open the door and there's Evan. Evan at the time is 10. He's on his little dirt bike. He's got his helmet on and he pulls up his shield and he goes, hi, Mr. Lee, can Zoe come out and play? Zoe was 8 at the time. And I start laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this whole story going on in my head. I'm like, Maddie's 22 and she's in college. And is there some guy coming to see her? Well, she's got a boyfriend. Why would they do that? Well, maybe it was Kate. Well, no, Kate's engaged and Matt doesn't drive. Like, I'm going through down the list and I joke around. I go and do the post. I'm like, I thought I had at least 8 to 10 more years before a boy would show up on our doorstep in a motorcycle asking if my daughter could come out and play. And I told the story. It went nuts. It went crazy, like over 80,000 views. And one of the persons who commented on my post was the CMO of a large regional bank who I was not connected to. But her comment was, oh my gosh, my husband would die if that happened with one of our girls. And she said a few more things. So I went back and I commented and I said, I know, as a dad of 4 daughters, And how many daughters do you have? She's like, oh, we have 2. My husband's so protective. We went back and forth in comments. And then I sent her a connection request and she accepted it like that. Okay. If I had just sent her a connection request out of the blue, slim and none. But I put something out there, human, personal, something that everybody could relate to in some way, shape, or form. And she resonated with it because she felt like, oh gosh, if her husband was in that situation. And then all of a sudden we had a relationship. That's the power of personal content. Now, I do believe for everybody, it's different than like what we call like Facebook content. I don't snap pictures of my dinner unless I want a snap picture of going out to dinner and praise the company for excellent service or something like that. So it's not Facebook content, but if you can use pictures of your cats and pull it into some sort of educational thing, or even just occasionally things of your cats and why it's important to you, I think it's spot on, excellent strategy and part of your personal brand.
Thank you.
That was a really long setup for me to get to the point of going, good job, Dave.
Did you see the one yesterday?
I have not yet. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No big deal.
You're in my list. It'll come up.
No big deal. It'll come up. It'll come up.
Yeah.
So that's something very personal to me for sure. And lots of people have cats, and cat lovers are good people.
Yep. There you go. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll end us with this story. I spoke at an event one time, and I have this guy come up to me, and we were chit-chatting afterwards, and he says, oh, well, let me give you my card. And I said, great. And he went and he handed me a card. And he goes, oh, wait, that's the wrong card. Let me give you this card. And I had both in my hand. I go, what? And he goes, oh, well, this one's for my business, but this one's my passion. And his business, I can't remember. He was either commercial real estate or residential real estate. I think he was residential real estate. And I said, why do you have them separate? He's like, well, this is business and this is personal. I said, oh man, you're missing out a huge opportunity. I said, you know, one thing I know about, and it was, I think his thing was dog rescue. Right? I said, you know, one thing I know about dog lovers. And I asked him a few questions about what it is. And I said, oh, so you just, all these people that love dogs, right? It's like, yeah. I said, you know, one thing I know about dog lovers, it's totally true. He's like, what's that? I go, they buy and sell their homes. He goes, what do you mean? I said, dog lovers also buy homes and sell homes. And dog lovers like other people who are dog lovers. Why would you not merge these two into your personal brand and share that with the world? Because there's huge opportunity of people that can become a client that would go, you like dogs? I love dogs. I'm going to hire you.
Exactly.
Happens all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do it in my own personal buying. I know I do. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So,
cool.
All right, Dave. Well, awesome questions today. Thank you so much for that. And anyone else watching the video, part of the Inner Circle, we do live Q&As every week, and we do a live training, a live Q&A. So love to have you all in the Inner Circle if you're not in it already.
Yeah, and thanks, Dave. Those questions are very thoughtful and very helpful to me, just hearing some of the things you're running into. So yeah, I'm getting a lot out of this too.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What I'm realizing too, Dave, where I'm so grateful is we've been asking a lot of questions inside the community, but getting on a video and seeing you and where your questions are, and like I'll be honest, I thought our create a list feature was really cool, and it's not as intuitive as maybe we thought it was. So we need to train and be available. So I'm going to start doing that as well.
Yeah, it's the power of the mastermind.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All righty, guys.
Cool.
Have a great rest of your Thursday.
You too. Take care.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
y'all.
See you guys.
Bye.